Madam Commissioner, EU enlargement has probably never been as geopolitical as it is now. It used to be a process, but now there's geopolitics involved on the highest stage. What is your vision for EU enlargement, for your mandate stretching to 2029?
I agree with you completely. You know, when I was still a candidate for the commissioner in November or in October, I was telling that enlargement today is different than it was 5 years back. But today, I'm saying that enlargement today is different than it was in January, because so much has changed, including with the new US government. So the geopolitics has changed in the sense of it has been priority before the enlargement, but it was not that much connected to the security and peace part. And again, you know, somehow with the enlargement today, we go back to the roots of why the EU has been established. It has been about providing peace, freedom, prosperity, and today we could add security. And this is what actually we do in the whole process. Of course, it's still about chapters and clusters and benchmarks, but this is far more important in the sense of that if we will fail in this, I will turn around it, we cannot fail. So it is so much important today that we cannot fail in the enlargement process, which is the most successful foreign policy of the EU.
What is failure?
The failure would be if we will not get any newcomers into the EU in the times of the present Commission, and I'm sure that we can do this. We could do this with Montenegro. All the chapters are open, so we just are closing them, so we could finish at the end of 26 from the technical point of view. We could finish from the technical point of view with Albania until the end of 27. Why I'm saying the technical point of view? Because this is the negotiation procedure, they have to do the reforms, but then it's up to the member states who will decide if they will become a member or not.
I know that every enlargement commissioner hates to commit to timelines, but you mentioned Montenegro, you mentioned Albania. Are they EU member state number 28 and 29 when you leave office in 2029?
Yes.
Anyone else apart from those two?
Could be. Moldova is really a good student in the whole group. They really feel, you know, this historical moment, and this is something what probably we haven't seen this before, because it is a peace project, because they want to belong to the community of values and democracy. They are willing to do everything possible. Even, you know, Ukraine, for the first time in the history, we are negotiating with a country at war. Never before we have done this. So I'm positive that it could be more than just two newcomers.
Picking on Moldova, the problem here doesn't really seem to be Moldova right now. I'm referring, of course, today a couple to Ukraine. Is it time to decouple them as you did, or not you, but the EU did with Albania and North Macedonia?
We are discussing already with the member states what to do, because no member state is against opening the first cluster with Moldova. So I hope that we will find a solution soon, and that we will be able to open not just the first cluster, the rest of them all in this year.
So you cannot rule out a decoupling already now in June, for example?
No.
When it comes to Ukraine, obviously there is the issue of national minorities, something that Hungary has brought up. Do you see scope for a deal here? Has, for example, Ukraine done enough when it comes to their national minority legislation, or do you feel that Budapest is asking for even more? How can this be solved? Ukraine
has done enough. I can tell you out of my personal experience, because I was facilitating the dialogue between Hungary and Ukraine. And there were many points, and Ukraine is willing to fulfill all of them. But this is not enough for Hungary. And we have to see how to persuade Hungary that it will be allowing to open the first cluster. Ukrainians know, this is not just about the Hungarian minority. protecting the minorities is one of the most important parts or tasks one member state or candidate country has to do, and for all the minorities, not just for the Hungarian minority. So we will see what the so-called public consultation in Hungary will bring. This is one part. The other part is how the member states will react to the fact that it cannot be business as usual with the enlargement. Is this geopolitical changes today, because we are somehow squeezed into the tension between geopolitical and security needs on one hand, and on the other hand, the methodology, which is, let's say, roughly 30 years old with small changes.
But what's your plan for circumventing this Hungarian veto?
Not for circumventing. It is
or to lift it.
Yes, it is talking to the Hungarians. This, the dialogue is always helping. Hungary wasn't opposing when it was the EU 27 decision that we give Ukraine the candidate status. So we are building on this.
If this obstacle is cleared, do you still think that all 6 clusters with both Moldova and Ukraine can be opened this year?
Yes.
You're positive that it goes so fast?
From the technical point of view.
Yeah.
But there is a decision-making process in the Council. But from the technical point of view, why can I say this? Because we are really, even now, if we cannot open the first cluster, we are working on the other clusters with both of the countries. So I'm sure that we will be able to prepare both countries to the level that we could then open everything in this year.
You've mentioned the geopolitical aspects, and one of those is, of course, the war in Ukraine. If Ukraine is forced into a peace settlement that is unfavorable to Ukraine, which, quite frankly, it might look like that right now, how can this affect its enlargement chances?
Enlargement is not only about entering or becoming a member of the EU. How I see the enlargement is that being a member of the EU could be a political anchor of the security guarantees for Ukraine. Probably in the near future, Ukraine will not be able to become a member of NATO. But the perspective of becoming a member of the EU could have this political effect. European Commission supports every solution which will be in the best interest of Ukraine. And of course, we also want to be present there, because who will bring Ukraine into the EU? Only EU. Who will be or will take over the biggest part of the reconstruction in Ukraine? Mostly it will be Europe and European companies. Who is until now the biggest giver of help, humanitarian and all the others? It's Europe with nearly 150 billion euros. So I cannot imagine that this would happen without EU participating.